What's up, Josh? There we go.
What's up?
What's going on?
Did anything happen before this show? Anything? God, dude. Gobert, defensive player of the league, basically a liability on defense. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. It's a game of matchups.
It is. And that's the modern NBA. It's not about individual skill always. It's matchups and schemes and that's crazy.
Clippers with playoff P in full effect. Yeah, let's give some flowers to playoff P and the Clippers, who are defying all odds over and over again this playoffs.
I don't remember them missing a three in the second half. Beverly's draining threes with dudes in his face. It's like, all right, we should just go home.
Yeah.
Clippers. You know your franchise history sucks when you're celebrating going to the conference finals. Like, you just, you should have a parade, basically.
You are a full-blown Lakers fan at this point, saying things like that, I believe. What's up, peeps? What's up, Hustle Collector? Suns should be celebrating? What do you think about that?
Definitely not celebrating because we need 2 more days for CP3 to clear the COVID protocol, and we missed out on that tonight. Because now they have to play Sunday, and I think I read that it's like the earliest he could possibly come back is Monday.
Who would you rather play? The Clippers minus Kawhi or the Jazz with Mitchell at 90% and Conley at like 70%?
Clippers. Dude, I watched this game like Terrence Mann, Beverly, and Reggie Jackson scoring like 60 points. I'm not sure how sustainable that is, man. Like, they're playing out of their freaking minds. Like the career highs for all 3 of them.
Yeah, I said similar things in Game 3, in Game 4, in Game 6, and then in Game 7 of Round 1. So they've somehow done it for 2 straight rounds here. Just phenomenal shooting, random role players stepping up. Marcus Morris went 8 of 9 from 3 to close out the Mavs in Game 7. If it's not one guy, it's another guy. Next man up. At this rate, Kawhi Leonard's going to be coming off the bench for Terrence Mann anyway. They don't even need him.
Is Kawhi out for the rest of the year, or is he potentially coming back?
I don't think it's been determined yet, but obviously he missed these 2 games, which would have been hugely important to play in if he could have gone. And the speculation is that it's an ACL injury. So
Yeah, I heard he was going to get surgery.
Well, yeah, and if it is ACL, then he's done.
Yeah, just like on paper, I'd rather play the Clippers, and home court. But the CP3 thing really freaking sucks. Man, like, I feel like the Suns' luck is pretty bad too. If you want to talk about Clippers' bad luck, freaking Suns, like the hip check from Robert Horry where they got suspended, and then Chris Paul. That Suns team is like maybe the best team in NBA history not to win a title, or at least the most exciting. So
Totally.
All right, well, bring it on.
Let's go. Congrats to the Clippers fans and investors in the chat. I see you guys. Congrats, guys. Enjoy.
All four of you.
All right. Welcome to the crossover today. What day is today? Today is Friday, June 18th. Quick announcement on my end, actually two announcements. The Sports Card Expo is happening this weekend. It's online. For more details, check out guy who just joined the chat, Jeremy Lee of Sports Cards Live, JLee_Sports Cards Live. He's got all the details on his Instagram page. I'll be on a panel tomorrow that happens at, I think, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you register. It's free. Registration's free. So that's going on tomorrow, Sports Card Expo. Other people on the panel are Jeremy, who invited me. Thank you for the invitation. And Dr. Beckett and Carvin. So, all right. Then the second announcement relates to a question. Well, before we get to this one, did you have any announcements, man, that you wanted to make?
We launched like 50 things on Card Ladder this week.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
okay. That's I'm getting to the big one. Do you want to intro
No.
any of the not so big ones? Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, I'm forgetting all the things that we launched, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
right, but there actually was two. So I'll get the first one out of the way. Private sales.
Yeah.
If we've heard a lot of people asking for this for a long time. The ability to be able to submit for approval private sales. I'm not going to go over all of the nuances of that policy. We have a YouTube episode on sports cards culture that goes into depth with it, but it's very easy to do on Card Ladder. If you did a private sale, maybe you were at your local card shop, maybe you were at a show, maybe you bought something on MySlabs. If you want to report that sale to us and submit it for approval into the database, there's no guarantee it'll be approved, but it will be vetted. And so if you'd like to do that, you can do it through the website. Just click on the card's profile and click on the plus in the upper right-hand corner, and that will allow you to add a sale.
That's not correct. Click on the triple dot in the upper right-hand corner, and then click Submit Sale.
There you go.
It's also going to be on the app. It's going to be on the app tomorrow.
All right, so you click the three dots, and then...
Submit Sale. It's on the bottom.
Okay, maybe I need to do a hard refresh here. Click the.
But
there it is.
if people lie about private sales, it will not get submitted. It's not like it's not a guarantee that you'll get it in. Like you have to. We ask you for proof. We ask you for details, and Chris will literally like message you and be like, "Yo, prove it."
Yep. Yes, I will. And plus, there's levels of transparency to this. You don't get to anonymously report the sale. Your name is attached to it and stuff like that. So, but it's good. It's good to have a database of private sales. There's never been one compiled ever. So, okay, that's number one. Some people have been using that feature so far with great success. Everybody's done a great job who submitted it so far. All right, the second thing to talk about is Card Ladder's fantasy collection competition, and Dormant Stash sent in a question to that effect. He said, do you have any tips on building my #fantasy collection? So
I got one.
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk.
Buy cards that are going to go up in value. You Warren Buffett, you.
That's right. For all the Warren Buffetts and Charlie Mungers, this is your chance.
Now we get to ask all of you what to buy because we're gonna have everyone prove it.
Yeah, that's right. That we really turned the tables, didn't we? We don't give investment advice, but now we're gonna make everybody else put their money where their mouth is. Wow. Carlos is smoking the field here. He's up to 12,000.
We might have to figure out how that's possible.
Wow. Well, all right. So to access the game, the game's only available to Card Ladder Pro members. The prize is this. This is a 2019-20 Prism Cello box. These go for about $1,200 or $1,300 right now. Plus a 1-year subscription to Card Ladder. And second and third place get subscriptions, 1-year subscriptions to Card Ladder as well. And basically the thesis of the game is just this. You have until July 1st to put together a fantasy collection of up to $10,000, picking from any of the 11,500 cards in the Card Ladder database. Build your collection. We will now let you go over 10,000. Build your collection, have it in by July 1st, and then just sit back and wait. And whoever's collection appreciates most over the month of July will win the prize. And second and third place will get the second and third place prizes.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, it's going to be fun because there's already like over, I think there's like 150 people that have signed up already and put in their collections, and it's going to be fun. You know, it's going to be a battle. We'll see what happens. And that's a sweet prize.
Sweet prize.
I'm not a big fan of giveaways. I've never been a big fan because most of the prizes, like, I feel like the prizes usually suck, and it's like you just want me to sign up for your thing. But we're giving away a legit prize here. This is a $1,000, $1,200 box of cards.
Yeah, and it will be hard earned because there's already 150 people on there. The odds are getting tough. Carbon's gonna spend $200,000 to drive up his cards. Not sure if the math lines up there to win a $1,200 box exactly. But yeah, really fun prize, guys, and it should be fun.
You have to have a subscription to play. That's like our only rule because you can't make a collection without a subscription. It's only for building collections.
That's right. That's right. And plus, you know, if it goes well, we may be doing this frequently. So if you like this and this is fun, come on and join up the competition. And, you know, don't wait around. I mean, you still have 12 days before your entry is due, but, you know, you forget about it and then time has passed and then all of a sudden you missed out. And, you know, you never know. So make sure you sign up. Sign up immediately. There's links all over the place on the cardladder.com website and obviously on the Pro app. So join. Okay, so you want to talk about, because Josh, Christina, and myself, Nick, South, Riley, Cole, everybody on the team is competing as well, but we can't win. But we're still making fantasy collections, and you can look at them on the leaderboard. And yeah, so you want to talk about what your choices in your collection and what you were thinking?
Oh, I'm just waiting for the next Hall of Fame speech, so I'm trying to plan ahead for that, and that's going to be tough. Is there any docs coming out? I think I'm gonna look at the Netflix release schedule and figure out which docs are coming out. No, I think I did like a Chris Paul and like a Booker just because I was excited about the Suns, and maybe they'll make a little run here over the next month. And then I think I had like a LeBron card and then a couple like football cards, maybe trying to plan for some. Honestly, like I've never really gotten in this mindset of this like very extreme short-term flip, so it's kind of a hard game to play. I was kind of like confused on what I should be doing. It's like I feel like I'm gonna be wrong no matter what I do.
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. We also contemplated the possibility that the market just kind of continues to go down in July, and like the first place winners collections are like 8,000. That could happen too, and that would not be.
I'm just gonna buy a $10,000 card that never sells, so that I just stay at 10,000.
All right, here's the cards that I put in my collection. I put a Mahomes Silver PSA 10. I put a Josh Allen base PSA 10, and I put a Baker Mayfield Prism PSA 10, and that got me pretty close to 10K. Nothing too complicated there, but I just figured it's July. Stuff's gonna be heating up going into NFL season, and those are three proven but still high ceiling, high potential quarterbacks. So, you know, but really like in a game like this, I feel like, especially you said we already have 150 contestants and there's probably going to be hundreds more. You probably can't play it as safe as I'm playing it. You probably need to take a higher risk, higher reward strategy. So I actually think I'm going to have to revise my collection now, but that's
true.
what I got right now.
That's true, man. I feel like the winning collection is going to be something that just went all out, and you know, I don't want to say got lucky because there's obviously skill, but there's obviously a little bit of luck involved, and you're gonna have to go risky. Another thought I had was like trying to play basketball players, they're going to have rumors of like players come to their team from free agency or coaching hires or something like that. Because you know how it goes. Prices go up the most when you're not playing. So it's probably better to not. It's probably better to not pick guys playing right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is a contest of skill.
This is a contest of skill, not chance.
Well,
Christina
there's
says.
definitely some chance.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not a skill. It's not a contest of chance, Josh.
It's a game of skill.
All right, game of skill.
10K and Terrence Mann equals the winner. Maybe.
Do we have any Terrence Mann cards in card ladder?
We should. We should have some Terrence Mann. He was a
We will tomorrow.
Yeah, we definitely have Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann, here he is. The man himself. $50. $50 for the Pop 146 Terrence Mann Prism Base PSA 10. But that's as of yesterday, where we haven't approved today's sales yet. Dare I click the eBay link and see? Oh, they've been cleaned off of eBay.
Dude, I bet you someone binned them all.
Oh, sold June 18th. Sold June 18th. Sold June 18th. Sold June 18th. June 18th. Okay. So there wasn't that many.
5.
There's 5. Somebody cleaned out all 5 of his Prism Base on eBay.
They're gonna be on eBay. They're gonna be on eBay in 3 days at double that price.
Problem with Terrence Mann cards is that they're not expensive enough because you can. One of the rules to the contest is you can only have 1 copy of a card. So. Very cool. That's got me curious. His silver is worth $65. Oh, and there's still several of those on eBay. One of his silvers is at $470 at auction right now.
Oh.
Okay, damn. Okay, so his silver started getting scooped up. So lots of June 18th sales. So look, it was $68 and $60. And then now on June 18th, 160, 150. I mean, there may have been offers accepted. We haven't checked that yet. But selling for many multiples more. Terrence Mann.
We're going to have to put Mikal Bridges on that guy.
Someone just bought my Terrence Mann Red Wave PSA 10 for a 250 bin.
I'm a little worried about DeAndre Ayton right now. If Gobert looked like that, what's going to happen to Ayton?
Yeah. Well, the Mavericks' best big man defensively against the Clippers by far was Willie Cauley-Stein. And Ayton is kind of built like Stein. I don't know how well Ayton switches on pick and rolls, but Willie Cauley-Stein could defend wing players extremely effectively. And I don't know, Ayton just seems kind of lanky and quick and built like Willie Cauley-Stein, but I don't know. I don't know how well Ayton does in pick and roll situations when he switches.
He's a little slow-footed. I mean, he's big, so he's not exactly like a wing, laterally. We'll see. Well, let's get into it, man.
All right, first topic of the day, unsurprisingly. Flippity Flip Cards says PWCC's 1986 Fleer Jordan PSA 10 auction controversy. And so, as usual, let's fill in some facts here. So I'm just going to read you the post. Here's the card in question. This is from PWCC. eBay experienced a site issue during a recent flash auction of the 86 Fleer Jordan PSA 10, which caused a significant number of bids to be blocked. Significant number of bids blocked. Numerous bidders contacted us during the final minutes of the auction and after it closed, letting us know they were unable to bid. We've been working with eBay since Tuesday night. Due to this glitch in their software, eBay has administratively canceled the auction and have confirmed that this was an invalid sale. Thank you.
Did you take it down from card ladder yet?
I did, and that was a decision that we don't take lightly. But here's the main factors, and this is really a very awkward situation and an unfortunate one. Because there's going to be a loser no matter what way this plays out. Because what about the poor guy who won this thing? Was it his fault that the software glitched? No, of course not. And doesn't eBay shouldn't eBay bear the burden of their software failure? there's something to be said there. But because it has now been reported that eBay invalidated the transaction,
Yeah.
that means no transaction took place. The deal was not consummated. Money didn't change hands. There's no sale. So there's no sale, and there's no link to the sale. And, it's been completely yanked off of eBay. And yeah, it's not a transaction. It's not a consummated transaction anymore. And it never was. So unfortunate situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's not much opinion or take you can have on this.
Yeah. I guess the only opinion or take is just that it's just really there's a lot on the line when an auction like this happens. Like that auction and the price rippled throughout the hobby that this card was now at 180K, down from 720, and that was a very serious comp. And it's not to be taken lightly. And the mistake here, software glitch or whatever the case was, had big ramifications, and it upset a lot of people. And you just hope that it won't happen again, and that this gets sorted out. But I've heard from several people that it's very difficult to get the clearances to bid that high on eBay, and even after you've gotten the clearances, sometimes you got to go back and get them again. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I only feel bad for one person in this scenario, the guy who won that for 180K. Because there's already two more that are over that on Golden. Like, the card sells like every week at this point. Like, the 180 wouldn't have held potentially. Like, it would have gone back over. So, the comp isn't a huge deal in my opinion. It's more about everyone freaking out that it went down so much more than anything. And so we'll move on, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Social Card Work says, with scandal every day grabbing attention, how do you two stay so positive? What do you think about this?
I just don't pay attention to it. I texted you tonight. I was like, why are people talking about drama? What drama? And you were like, oh, the Jordan thing. Oh, that's still going on? Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just maybe it's because I'm getting older. I just don't care about that stuff anymore. It doesn't, I mean, some of it obviously affects us and I have to care, but I just try not to care and focus on what I can focus on. And I told Brett tonight, I don't watch a ton of content either. Maybe that's part of it. Like, I just don't get sucked into all the different content and all the different hoopla and stuff, which I know is tough because that's like 90% of Instagram now is less about cards and more about the drama, so it's hard to avoid it. But I guess like it's kind of like the problem of when people aren't voting enough. It's like all I can do is vote myself. I can only control what I can control, and that's my own single vote and my own content of what I produce. So if I just keep focusing on creating the content that I think is beneficial for everybody and is more enjoyable and positive, I'm just going to keep doing that, and hopefully other people follow suit. There's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, it's a great take. You can definitely just avoid it if it's not for you, but it does still consume other people, and it actually does sometimes seem to change the shape of interaction in the hobby.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to fight the premise here and say that I am not so positive of a person in the first place. So, so do we really stay that positive? I don't know. I think we stay even keeled. I think that happens. But positive, I don't know. I don't know that we're that positive. We're very positive about the things that we like about the hobby, and we just focus on the things that we like. I think
they mean comparatively.
I guess so. I don't know. There are negative things that happen in this hobby that do need to be addressed. So, and
I take it more as like when there's a ton of negativity, that's when I get positive, and then when there's too much positivity, like a couple months ago, that's when I'm like, okay, guys, well, maybe it's not that great.
Yeah, if you want us to be negative, just make everything else go really well, and you get the negative. Also, though, it is this hobby, man. Sometimes I think it's because so many people, it's just such a hobby for them, and it's not serious, and it's not work, and it's not family. It's something else. It's just a hobby that no, they don't take it too seriously. They take it for entertainment value. If somebody slips up and does something extremely unethical and stupid, it's forgotten in 3 to 4 months or less, which is very frustrating. But then again, people deserve second chances. There's two sides to that coin, but I don't know. All right. This is a fun question. K Dizzles Cards says, what is your ideal hobby day from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at that?
Can I answer this before, Chris?
Yeah, but let Josh go and then you
Okay.
go.
This one's super easy. It's whenever I'm the ideal hobby day is when I've found a new thing that I'm after and I'm researching it, and I just spend the whole day like searching for it on eBay and MySlabs and trying to find it, messaging people, trying to learn about it frantically. And I usually like blow through that in a whole day, but those are usually pretty good days when those come up. I had a Julio Jones day the other day. I was just like spending the whole day trying to like find his stuff, research. Those are fun. That's probably an ideal day. And then landing stuff.
Sure. Okay. Do you want to say? Come say it.
Oh, crap. Chris's ideal hobby day is wake up at 4 p.m., message Josh, come to the office around 4:30 p.m., eat breakfast, answer messages on Facebook. At around 5:15, start research for Card Ladder. Continue research for Card Ladder. Dinner is then served to him in his office. Continue research for Card Ladder. Message Josh. Message people on Facebook and Instagram. Email some people. Continue research for Card Ladder. And then
Don't forget Clubhouse.
Then around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., join Clubhouse. Christina leaves the office. Talk on Clubhouse and have everyone give him a ton of attention.
Yes, please.
Message Josh. And then do pending sales. Stay up till 5 a.m. Doing research and pending sales. Go to sleep.
That's just my everyday.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
insane.
Living the dream.
This is
over
like
And
literally
don't
living the
forget to
dream.
message Josh before you go to bed.
Yep. I always have a few thoughts for Josh to wake up to in the morning.
Exactly.
You should not scroll through our message history. It's like embarrassing how much there is.
Yeah, we've quite the book, quite the encyclopedia of messages now.
Like, one time I'll be talking to my wife, be like, "Oh, look what I messaged Chris yesterday. It was just yesterday. Hold on, hold on, just hold on." Yeah, sad.
Okay, great question, K Dizzle. Look at this, man. The chat has completely turned on Clubhouse. Wow. Jeez. Man,
Like they don't like
Clubhouse
it.
gone the way of Top Shot.
Oh no, that's like a death sentence.
Okay. Guess the Grade says, do you guys have any predictions for what's going to happen with respect to PSA's reopening?
They're gonna get flooded with cards. Honestly, dude,
Yeah.
how could they not? They're gonna
No, they
get
definitely
slammed with cards. Yeah.
People have been stockpiling raw cards. I know that, and yeah, they're gonna get flooded. One prediction that I have is that they're not going back to economy or bulk level pricing anytime soon. You're still at. My take. I have no insider knowledge, but my take is that they're probably, when they reopen, they're just gonna have like $100 or $150 service level. That would be my guess. At least until the backlog is like all the way cleared, which is still months and months away.
Yeah, I think they're gonna open up one at a time, and then just like hope that they don't get crushed, and then just keep and then just keep going at it little by little. It's got to be a progressive thing. There's no way they can just like open everything up and just be right back to where they started.
Yeah, and
But who knows? Maybe the market's down enough. Maybe they won't get flooded. I don't know.
yeah, that could be. The promised reopen date was July 1st, and that's coming up. I don't know, man. That came up fast. Okay, Zucchini says pick one basketball card and one football card that will be in a museum one day.
Well, the Jordan Fleer probably is already in a museum, and it probably will be if it's not. And then football, I want to say the Brady Contenders, but I don't like the thought of having an autographed card in a museum.
Good
That bothers me.
point.
So I'm gonna keep thinking. I'll say the Jim Brown rookie.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I actually love both of your choices because the cards themselves aren't exceedingly rare. You could display one in any condition and still accomplishing the purpose. Those are two great choices. And you could put those cards in many museums, right? You could put those in the Basketball Hall of Fame. You could put them in pop culture related museums. You could do a lot of stuff with those. So good.
I feel like people that visit museums wouldn't appreciate like the PMGs, like they should. So I don't think that's why I didn't say that answer.
Yeah.
No, the Museum of Modern Art might.
Yeah, that's where I think they'd fit in well.
Yeah. Like a collection on like artistic sports cards.
Right next to like a Richard Prince
Ugh.
dog.
Get started on Prince.
Okay, let's go. Stacking Slabs says if you and Josh could own one card of a player that remains in the playoffs, what would it be and why? Terrence Mann, silver, duh.
Jesus. PSA 10, exquisite at a 99, Chris Paul. Boom.
That's right, that was easy for you. A KPB card says Trae Young Prism Penguin parallel.
Get it? I love the specificity.
I don't know. It's one card of one player who's remaining. I don't really like any of the players remaining. Is that okay?
You don't like Trae Young?
Who? Trae Young?
I really like Trae Young.
Dude, we have like 5 Trae Young questions, so.
Oh,
Shout
I'm
out
waiting.
Shout out to What Are We Doing Here, by the way, as well, in the chat. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't really like anybody in the playoffs. How about a Kawhi Prism Gold? How about
What about Giannis? I thought you liked Giannis.
Oh, I do like Giannis.
You just said you don't like anyone left.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking clearly. I have very bad allergies for the last week or so, and I'm cloudy mentally. I should have warned people of that in advance in case I am even more indecipherable than usual.
You could
don't
buy
worry. I'm reading it.
you could buy a share of the Giannis Prism Gold for like $500,000.
Or I could buy a share of that Donovan Mitchell Prism Gold that's only a third filled so far. I could buy 2/3. Oh, Donovan Mitchell isn't in playoffs anymore. Darn.
Oh, okay. Giannis Prism Gold is your answer. I did it for you.
Thank you. That's a good choice. Yep.
Great card.
Ben Simmons.
God, here we go.
One more question before the onslaught of Trae Young questions. I tried to push these off as long as possible. Cards and Candy 911 says, who else is sick of these negative blowout type of watchdogs? And I just want to say something about this one. Look, I think we all are sick of it to some extent because it comes to dominate our hobby experience, and we want the hobby experience to be fun. But watchdogs play an important role. They've sussed out a lot of bad things that have happened in this hobby, whether it was counterfeit cards, whether it was trimming, whether it was people engaging in pump and dumps and scams and frauds. Watchdogs serve an important function. And, I'll give a small tip of the hat to Card Porn for their post today because they raised some really important issues that new people to the hobby might not have known about. and that's good. That's a good thing. Even though I agree, the Watch Dogs thing, it really can get out of control and can become very dramatic. But it's a necessary job, and I am glad that people do it. Do you have any thoughts on being sick of these negative blowout type of Watch Dogs?
Nah, you covered it. Dude, you really want people to know that our website is secure with the capital HTTPS. I like that. Smart.
I don't know why I did that, but it's a very secure site.
Let the people know, man. It's secure. The S is the security part.
Yeah. Next time I'll only capitalize the S. That is the right link, right? Because somebody asked how to join, and I just wanted to just pin that link there for them.
HTTPS.
All right, good. Okay. Trae Young. I have a whole topic. Trae Young.
Hey, just so you know, I'm not feeling so good. I might have to leave soon. Thank God I didn't win tonight. God, I would never hear the end. Tonight would just be.
Yeah, I know. I was bracing for that as well. All right. Sweat47 says, I bought my first Trae Young card last night. Is the hype real? Rookie Patch Auto says, what are your thoughts on Trae? Really good or really lucky? Hobby overreactions? Okay, so like those two questions were together. What do you think? Let's talk about Trae.
He's definitely not lucky, man. I'm not even a dick enough to say that. But I know I've been hard on Trae Young, and I want to clarify, I've been more harsh on the price of his cards than anything, and he's not my favorite player. I don't like his style. No, I have been rooting against him. It's probably obvious. I've been rooting against the guy in these playoffs, and it's not gone well for me. He's just like torching these teams. I told you before, I said it on this show that he's the best player in space in the NBA. You heard me say that.
Mm-hmm.
And
you said that well before the playoffs.
He's been really good, man. He's been getting into open space, hitting that floater. He's very tough. Obviously, he's very like strong-willed, very confident. I still see a lot of flaws in his game. I still think he turns the ball over at really bad spots. He forces shots a lot. He can't defend. I mean, he's gotten the dream matchup of Ben Simmons. He doesn't have to defend. The guy freaking doesn't shoot, so he doesn't really have to defend Simmons. But no, he's good, man. He's a lot better than I thought. And I haven't watched a ton of him. And I did watch enough to make opinions on him during the season, but I'm getting a much better look at him now, and he's a lot better than I thought. He looks good, and his card prices keep going down. So I said it a couple weeks ago, man. If you believe in Trae Young and you like him and you're a big fan, now's your chance. Buy him. I don't want to hear that he's too expensive anymore, or that you're, worried to buy his stuff. Now's your chance. If you're gonna be talking about Trae Young like being the next, great thing, put your money down and go buy the stuff, because now's the time. His stuff has like gone down so much, all of it.
Yeah, and ironically, like while he's having an incredible playoff debut, Trae has a lot of fans out there too, and in the hobby especially, but not just in the hobby. Yeah, okay, let me move on. Well said. Let me move on to some more questions here.
Sure.
From the Adam Lefko, at the start of the Modern Retreat, Josh used Trae as an example. Apologize to Lameme.
Could I have been more right about that? I mean, I should be taking several victory laps about saying he was
distinguish between a player's performance versus their card market.
I said on this show, you said Ja Morant, I said Trae Young as the most overpriced cards in the entire market, and he's gone down the absolute most.
Yeah.
And I've heard other content creators say he was the best buy, the absolute opposite of what I said. So I'm taking a victory lap on that. I don't want to hear that right now. His stuff has gone down so much.
I like that take. That take is basically Trae Young has exceeded expectations. And look, there was a top 25, under 25 list that came out from ESPN this year that put Trae Young as the 16th best player. 16th. Horrible. Okay? So he has leapfrogged his expectations, done everything you could want and dream of for a player to do in the hobby, and still the prices were too high. So I like your take. I like your spin on that.
Well, that's just like my hobby and market knowledge more than like me analyzing him as a basketball player. It's like
Sure.
Dude, his stuff was so expensive preseason. It made no sense, and it's come crashing back down. And he's this is what I've said to this people on the show so many times is like, it's not the fault of the player. They can literally improve, exceed expectations, and their prices will still go down because the hype was too high, and it's impossible to sustain it. It's not even Trae Young's fault. It's not even analysis on him as a player to say he was overpriced. It just was the fact.
Excellent point. Okay, you want to hear Trae Young's statistics in the playoffs so far?
38, 24, and
in the playoffs so far, 10 games, Trae Young is averaging 29 points, 10 assists, 1 steal, only 3 turnovers, and he's shooting 43% from the floor, which is not that good. He's shooting 33% from 3, which is well below league average. He's shooting a very impressive 90% from free throws. His player efficiency rating is a very impressive 25.7. So some of the shooting percentages definitely leave something to be desired. You can just kind of watch the games and see some of his shot selection is poor. But, man, extremely good for a playoff debut. I'm sorry, his PER is 25.1. But a very impressive playoff debut for Trae. 29 and 10 on 43, 33, 90 splits, and a 25.1 PER. It's very good. All right, one more question on Trae. It's this one from South Park Cards. Will Trae Young always have an uphill battle due to the vested interest of Luka collectors? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think so. I think his market is independent. I mean, a lot of people like to compare them for obvious reasons, but I think he has enough collectors to build his own market and doesn't really necessarily need to siphon them from Luka. I think they're pretty independent. There's enough money to go around. You know, if people want to buy Trae, they will. If they don't, they won't. I don't think it really has to do as much with Luka as people want it to be.
Yeah, I do get the point though. Because the thesis behind this, which is a valid one, is that Trae Young and Luka are not far off from each other. Not far off at all. In fact,
Yeah.
Trae Young's team is in the second round, and Luka has been to the playoffs twice now and never made it to the second round. So, like, from the point of view of playoff accomplishments, Trae has more, and he has a better record in the playoffs. But I'm going to use this as an opportunity. And so take in mind, this is bias coming from somebody who, like, religiously follows Luka. This is somebody who watched Luka play an exhibition game for 2 hours versus Croatia today at 2 in the afternoon, okay? So take this for what it's worth. But, okay, you want to know what Luka's averages in these playoffs were? We just went over Trae's. This is what Luka did in the playoffs this year. 36 points a game, 10.3 assists, 8 rebounds, 49% from the floor, 41% from 3, 53% free throws. Okay, that's not so good. And his player efficiency rating is 27.5. On any metric except for free throws, Luka is substantially better than Trae Young in these playoffs. And if you want to look at regular season, it's the same. But you might say, well, 36 points versus 29, or they have the same amount of assists. Like, it's not a big gap, right? Like, it's not a huge gap. And this applies to many things. It's like, what's the difference between Michael Jordan and whoever the second best player of his era was? But it's probably not a huge gap. You know, there's like, what's the difference between Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon? Hakeem Olajuwon was a terrific player by his own accomplishments. But here's the thing. Here's the metaphor that I always use in this situation. The 2016 Olympics, Usain Bolt, 100-meter dash, 9.81 seconds, got first place, got the gold. Fourth place, who nobody remembers, ran it in 9.93. 12 tenths of a second was the difference between a gold medal and obscurity. 12 tenths of a second. The difference between greatness and right up next to being great is a razor thin. So I think that translates to the hobby somewhat as well. And I think it doesn't always make sense to say, well, these two players are really close to each other, therefore their hobby prices should be close to each other. I don't think things play out that way. I think we really have winner-take-all markets. With that said, could Trae Young overtake Luka and become better than him? Of course.
No.
Of course he could. That many things are still yet to be determined, but I think that concept is a very important one to think about in the context of sports card market stuff. So I thought about that one a little bit before answering it.
Feel better?
Feel much better, and thank you for serving up the question, Sal. Okay. So,
Wait, one of the storylines of the playoffs has been people shooting like half their normal free throw percentage. Giannis, Ben Simmons, and Luka all shooting like abysmal free throw percentages. What's going on there?
pressure, psychology.
It's crazy, right? It's like 30%, 40% fit. Like, what in the world? You guys shot 1 million of these during the regular season. What's going on?
I don't know. All three of those guys also leave something to be desired in regular season free throw shooting, but they've been really bad in the playoffs.
I have a question.
Ben Simmons like the worst playoff free throw percentage of all time.
It might be a stupid one, but when Giannis gets violations at the free throw line,
Does that count as a miss?
yeah,
I don't think so.
okay.
That's why he's doing it. Dude, Giannis shooting free throws is the most like anxious, painful thing to watch in all of sports. It's like, oh my God. James Harden is like throwing his arms like, just shoot the ball, man, hurry up. Because it's like, someone had a stat that he shot like 10 free throws or 7 free throws or something in the first quarter of one of those games, and it takes him like 30 seconds end to end for each one. So it's like freaking a tenth of the first quarter was just like watching Giannis shoot free throws.
That's kind of ridiculous. But more power to you.
Really ridiculous.
Do what you got to do, man. I don't even know if it's helping you, to be honest. But
Maybe it's a psychological game that he's playing with the other team, though.
oh, he's in control. He's
He's like, look how long I can take, and they'll just wait for me. And like, I'm gonna make all of you like take breaths before you get the ball back.
All right.
There was one where he he like does the practice before the ref gives him the ball.
Yes.
He did like 3 of them, and all the players were like, "Come on, hurry up!" And Giannis looked at the ref. He looks at the ref and he's like, "What? Give me the ball. I'm waiting." It's like, are you serious? You're sitting there doing your little thing.
What's going through your mind? You're like, okay, first, I need a second one, third one. I don't know, man.
Dude, when I'm struggling like that, I just want to get to the next one. I just like the more I think about it, the worse it gets. Just get up there and shoot the ball.
Good point. All right. So, question on Giannis from Mike Pinkerton 50: will Giannis get his championship? I think Giannis cards are a great buy. What do you think? Any comments on that?
Well, first of all, I'd be very wary of attempting to make money on, Giannis winning the championship this year. You're basically gambling. That's pretty risky. So I don't know that I want to play that game. He still has to win Game 7, then he's got to win the Eastern Conference Finals, then he's got to win the final. That's a lot of things to get through. Granted, he might be favored, and if he beats the Nets, he'll be favored in the next round and possibly the finals. But still, a lot of things that would have to be accomplished in order to get to that point. He's not eliminated yet. I still like him.
No doubt. Since you mentioned gambling, of the 6 remaining teams, the Brooklyn Nets have the best odds, plus 220. Phoenix Suns are right there with them, plus 250. Then you have Clippers, Bucks, and 76ers. The Hawks are plus 3,200. They're half an order of magnitude out compared to all the other teams, even though they're 1 game away from the conference finals. All right, moving on to Donovan Mitchell. South Park Card says, has Donovan Mitchell peaked in the Utah market? Will they keep Gobert?
I'm not sure. The Jazz are good, man, but I thought this going into this year, everyone's getting all excited about the Jazz, and I didn't buy into it. It didn't make any sense to me, and that kind of they flamed out early again. I think he's really good. He's exciting. He's a fun player. I'm just not sure that he's ever like you said. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell to me is the perfect example of that dude that got fourth place in that race in 2016. He's extremely good, but he's just not quite at the top end. And I'm not sure that if you have no shot of getting to the top end, people are eventually just going to lose interest. I feel like he's falling into that category a little bit. Even and analysts won't buy into it. They just the TNT guys give him a hard time. It's just like the public perception is kind of overwhelming him, and he's not really proving anyone wrong just yet. And again, is that his fault? He's pretty much maxing out what he's got, in my opinion.
And that's a high max. I mean, in the playoffs this year, he averaged 32 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 41% three-point shooting, 85% free throws. I mean,
great numbers. Those are fantastic.
It's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I mean, some people have compared him to Dwayne Wade, which is high praise, but okay. The 32, 5, and 3 or whatever on pretty good shooting percentage. His PER this playoffs was 25.4, slightly better than Trey. I mean, the guy's an elite player, man. But I agree. There's a real risk here that we might be dealing with a future Hall of Famer, but are we dealing with somebody who's going to be top 10, top 15 all time?
Yeah. I mean, that's the question is what's your expectation? What's the baseline that you're asking me in this question? Are you asking me, is he going to be Jordan, LeBron, Wilt, or is he going to be Dwayne Wade? What's your expectation? If his ceiling is Dwayne Wade, he could get there potentially. Wade won 3 championships and, had an incredible career. That's going to be really tough to match. So, and Dwayne Wade cards are expensive, but they're not exactly, blowing the roof off the joint. So you just gotta you gotta set your expectation of what you're talking about. What are we comparing him to? For what he came into the league, his expectations coming into the league, he's absolutely fucking crushed and destroyed all of that. He was the 15th pick. He got picked after a bunch of bums that aren't even in the NBA anymore.
The Mavericks
so he's absolutely
did Kelly Olynyk before him. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was Giannis.
Dennis Smith.
Dennis Smith. Yeah, Dennis Smith.
Yeah, so he's crushed those expectations, but now there's new expectations of, he needs to win a championship, and so that's where it gets tougher for him.
And what do you think South says by peak? I mean, he's maximized his markets, not necessarily skill. Do you think his market is at the highest it could ever be?
Because of Utah? I'm the one person who just doesn't believe in the location at all. I just don't get it. LeBron was popular in Cleveland, Ohio, people. So Giannis cards are on fire from Milwaukee. I'm just not sure that the location matters that much if you're a mega superstar. Are we saying the team he needs to get out? Is that what we're talking about? He needs to try to find a new team? Or he might get stuck in the Lillard situation? Maybe, but then he's gonna have to admit that he wants to be second fiddle to somebody, and that's gonna hurt his hobby value too. So I'm not sure there's a good answer to that. I think his best bet is to try to make it work in Utah.
I'll probably listen to some Jazz podcasts tomorrow because I'm really interested. They have to be extremely disappointed that the Clippers lose Kawhi and then go on to sweep the rest of the series 2-0. I understand Mike Conley was hobbled, and Donovan Mitchell was not at 100% either, although he had some incredibly good games for not being 100% especially. But I wonder, what's the Jazz? I mean, the Clippers went through the Mavericks in a tough 7-game series, and the Mavericks blew up everything. The coach is gone. The general manager's gone. And when a new GM and coach come in, they're probably going to redo that whole damn roster because no general manager and coach want to take the pieces that the last guy left. So the Mavs blew up everything, or are going to blow up everything for losing to this Clippers team. The Jazz suffered a more embarrassing loss in the sense that they lost half of the games that they needed to lose without Kawhi, without their best player. So is there going to be some real worry and we need to rebuild in Utah? I wonder.
I don't know. I wouldn't overreact if I were Utah. Well, I mean, wait. No offense to Utah and like Jazz fans, but you're not exactly like a major market where you can afford to just kind of like blow it up and pull a Celtics and restart. Or you don't. I'm not sure that's a great move. I would run it back. Maybe try to add a piece. Maybe like make a minor move. I don't know that I would blow it up necessarily. Mitchell's how old is he? Like 23 or something. He's gonna keep getting a little bit better. I would try to maximize what I have. I'm just not a fan of like the Oklahoma City route of like let's just fucking blow it up and then okay now what? Now you're shitty for 6 years. Like how is that any fun? I mean you got the 1 seed in the West. Enjoy that a little bit. Like try to improve and like figure out where things went wrong and get better and run it back. I mean. There's 30 teams, right? 1 team wins the championship. Are you really going to be able to blow this up and be the best team in the league? Probably not. So I would just squeeze this orange.
Good. Okay. Last player, and obviously this player is going to have a lot determined tomorrow. Kevin Durant. South Park Card says, what will happen to the Durant investors if there is a second round exit? Fire sale or turn it into a KD PC?
I really like that clever little ending there. Hey guys, I'm the world's best. That's all. I mean, I've said it on this a bunch that like the thing that's always worried me about the KD stuff is like I just don't know that many people that collect him. He just doesn't. I feel like there's more Trae Young collectors than Kevin Durant collectors.
That's an interesting question. You're probably right.
Just based on like hobby noise of what I hear and stuff. I know I wouldn't overreact to what happens tomorrow for Durant either way. To be honest, like he's obviously dealing with a ton of injuries on the team. I mean, he looked gassed the other night. He's obviously trying to do everything. Dude, they played like 5 guys, and the 6th guy played like 20 minutes. They literally played like everybody the whole game, and those guys were just absolutely gassed. So I don't know that I would hold it over against him too much for tomorrow. What's going to happen to his investors? I mean, his prices will probably go down. They'll probably panic sell and stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah. They played Kevin Durant 48 minutes in that incredible Game 5 where he basically had a 50-point triple-double. But 48 minutes.
If I had to bet, I would still bet on the Nets tomorrow because the home team has won every game so far, and I would trust Durant in crunch time of the floor. I feel like it's gonna be a close game, and so if it's a close game, I trust Durant more than Giannis and Middleton.
The Nets are a 1-point favorite.
I hope it's a good game, man. I really do.
What do you think about James Harden limping around out there at like 50 or 60%, but still, making plays and he can't run fast breaks. He can't drive. He looks awkward tossing up threes, but he's out there playing 40 minutes. I mean, what do you think about that?
You're the savvy vet. Oh, he looks like he's playing like he's 43, and he's just like, you know what? I just want to keep playing forever, and this is all I can do. It's interesting.
I like that.
Because dude, I text you all the time. I cannot stand the foul calls that he gets. I never understood it. Like people touch him and it's a foul, and he's still getting those calls even though he's not driving. When he's driving and getting those calls, like I just want to lose my mind. So I'm enjoying this, watching him just sort of be turned into a one-dimensional player. But he's a creative guy. He's figuring it out. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't understand it. How he's able to do this.
Yeah, it's amazing to me too that James Harden at 50 or 60% is better than the 6th man up for the Nets positional.
Mike James, Shamet, yeah, he's better than all of them still.
It's incredible.
Well, his step back 3 is a true weapon, man. He can pull that thing out whenever he wants. So
yeah, he can. Okay, all right. Any other basketball thoughts before we get back to some hobby questions?
I was going to give my Ben Simmons take.
Ben Simmons.
That guy's very disappointing. I try not to like pile onto guys and give them benefit of the doubt because these are like still superstar athletes and they're all incredible and stuff. But he is very disappointing. Just watching all these games, like a complete liability. And it's like, oh, all first team defense. Okay, Trae Young's like lighting you up, man. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah. Ben Simmons in these playoffs, 13 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. That's not a terrible line. 13, 9, and 8, 65%
Didn't he have,
field, but he only shoots, right next to the hoop. And but this is the crazy one. Do you know what his free throw percentage is in the 2020-21 playoffs?
32%.
Yeah, 32%.
I listen.
That's pretty rough. Let's see what his player efficiency rate. His player efficiency rating is 19.3. So
He's just like an average player making $40 million a year.
damn, do you think he'll ever add a jump shot?
No. No way, man. I mean, like the distance between where he is now and like having an NBA reliable jump shot is like the furthest I've ever seen a gap. It's like worse than Rondo, you know.
All right.
Dude, actually, can you even like picture him going around a screen and shooting a jump shot? Can you even picture that?
No, I mean, no. At this point, no.
You got to be able to shoot, man. Did you watch that Clippers Jazz game? Freaking everybody on the court. They literally just put 5 dudes around the 3-point line. Whoever had the ball broke down his man, got into the paint, kicked it out to the 3-point shooter. If you can't shoot, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah. Speaking of the Clippers, right? Okay. So sometimes teams go big where they just play like really tall lineups. The Lakers were very dominant going big during parts of the regular season last year with that rotation of McGee, Howard, and Davis. And, LeBron is huge as well. Lakers, great example of a team going big with success. Some teams go small. Last year, the Houston Rockets would go extremely small. PJ Tucker would be like the biggest guy on the floor, and it would just be Harden and everybody spread out. The Clippers go medium. The Clippers go 5, 6'7" guys who all can hold their own in the paint, who can box out, who can rebound, and they all shoot over 40% from 3. They all can penetrate, and they all can defend the wing. Whether you're talking Batum or whether you're talking Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverly. Nice to see Patrick Beverly playing again. Kawhi, obviously, Terrence Mann. What the hell? Like, the Clippers have this new formula that I haven't heard it discussed too much. Like, some people say like the Clippers are going small, but they're really not going small. They're going medium with a bunch of guys who have multifaceted skill sets, like you were saying. It's really interesting roster construction. The Clippers are beating people with this roster construction. They don't even have their best player, and they beat the number 1 team in the West, regular season wise, like handily, 2-0.
It's the 3-and-D super team.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the 3s and Ds over there, playoff team.
Dude, playoff team. Luke Kennard didn't even play really. That's the other thing I've noticed is these teams are just like completely shrinking the bench to nothing. Like all these games I'm watching, no bench players, and when they do play, it's like a 2-minute stretch to get a guy a break, and they're right back out. I mean, look at these box scores, man. Like guys aren't even playing. Like Bobby Portis doesn't even play anymore. He was like a major contributor in the regular season. Doesn't even see the floor.
Yeah, true. Okay. Let's squeeze in some more card questions here in our last 15 minutes. Social Card Work says, do patch cards matter more in football?
I don't think so. Am I missing? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I don't know. I am no expert in football collecting. I do have a small football collection. For some reason, the NT RPA is more important to my football PC than it is to my basketball PC. I don't know why, but I do. I just like it. I think it just looks better. It matches the uniform or the player picture on the card better. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to that or not.
I think historically, the RPA is more meaningful to basketball, has more history, it just has more prestige to it. So I would probably say that the patch matters more to basketball. And that's not more so just because I think basketball cards are more important than football cards. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Interesting question. B-Ball Cards 96, a very fitting name. Do you and Josh still collect Jordan and Penny? If so, what 90s insert is still on your want list? Love the show. Thanks.
I have been looking for the 24 karat gold Penny Hardaway for so long that it's like making me angry. It's like the only one that
You remember you got sniped on one at the last second on that PMG Green watch party?
That's a true friend right there.
Oh, I remember that.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when
Do you remember?
I kind of remember, yeah.
Can't tell.
I remember. Did you win that Jordan Green PMG that night? I forget. Did you win it?
I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. All right. Good. So you say 24 karat gold. I say Jambalaya. Never owned it. Great card.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
I'll take one if you're sending them.
If you're panic selling, I'll take one.
Yeah, right. Fire sales, email blast me. BBBB 4391. Please discuss 1997 through 1998 and its importance to the hobby. We've talked about this on other episodes. Those are some of the most important years in the hobby. 1997-98 was the introduction of PMGs. The year prior had a parallel called Precious Metal, but they didn't have Precious Metal gems. Other important inserts came out that year, like the numbered essential credentials. Very important transformative year in the hobby. And the second to last year to depict NBA licensed Michael Jordan cards by a brand other than Upper Deck. And then 98-99, important year as well. Important draft classes too. Also second year cards of Kobe. Cards of all the great 90s guys are in those sets. Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Marbury, Iverson, Duncan, etc. They're all in there. All right. Okay. Cow cards. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, man. KHAU cards. Macro inflation numbers are increasing by the day. Do you think this will also affect card prices increasing abnormally? Core CPI and PPI are at multi-year highs. Full disclosure, I don't know what that means. And I didn't look it up before the show. But he says, I'm in construction. Everything related is escalating to unseen levels. The $1 trillion question is, or inflation-wise, the quadrillion dollar question is, will inflation be the next catalyst for another leg higher in cards sooner rather than later, even higher than the peak that we saw this past spring?
I'll be honest. I'm one of the you know how like people talk about inflation a lot and they equate it to the economy and it usually sounds pretty smart. I don't know anything about inflation or like how it affects things in the economy. I just am that guy that's like, oh yeah, inflation, that's bad. I just don't. I'm not going to pretend to know enough about all that stuff, so I'm just going to bow out of this one.
Yeah. I've always been a little bit skeptical if inflation is really measurably felt. Like, let's say there was 10%. Let's say your bank account inflated 10% this year, but it inflated like 0.8% every month. You know, are you going to like take special note of that and think to yourself like, well, if I, now I can increase my car budget by 0.8% or I can, allocate some of it. I don't think people think that precisely, but I do think that there is a momentum factor that when people hear news about inflation, like when it was a big headline story that the monetary supply had increased by a massive amount earlier this year, I think it makes people get wary about the value of the dollar. I think it makes people get more cautious. They become more uncertain, less confident, less risky, which is actually counterintuitive because if, in fact, inflation is happening, then the value of the dollar is lowering relative to the value of items, and so you actually should get less dollars. But I don't know if inflation will lead to card inflation, card price inflation. I don't know about that. I really don't know. They seem to be kind of disconnected.
I get Chipotle a lot, and when I went the other day, it was more expensive than it's ever been. Is that inflation?
It is, yes. Yes.
So I have been directly affected by inflation for the first time in my life. So what the fuck?
Wow. The card ladder members will be glad to know that they are not affected by inflation. Same.
I get the same thing every damn time, and
It went
the
up
lady
on
was
you?
like, "That'll be whatever," and I was like, "Wait, what's your name? I don't think you know who I am, lady. I basically live here, and that's not how much this costs." And she's like, "Oh, the price of whatever, like chicken inflated or whatever." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, so
You told the girl checking you out at Chipotle that you live there?
I mean, I'm like, how do you not know who I am? First of all, I should be getting a discount for this fucking place. I have a show with 100 people live constantly talking about Chipotle. You guys should be freaking rolling out the red carpet for me here.
Yeah.
well, the cost of that sponsorship just inflated as well. So we'll offset.
I just remember. Yeah, you don't want my takes on like economic stuff. So go to the next question.
Yeah, let me acknowledge something in the chat and we'll move on. Publius13 says a lot of people can notice having less disposable income, which is indirectly what you were just saying right there.
Yeah.
So, okay. Drake's PC says, I'm sure this will be covered in the national preview episode, but is it better to bring liquid cards or is it better to bring rare cards if you're looking to sell or trade to the show?
Definitely liquid. A lot of people are afraid to buy the rare stuff right now. Because they don't know what it's worth, and just in general, like dealers want to know what stuff's worth. You ran into that when you did that trade. They want to know what it's worth because their goal is to, frankly, to make money on it. So if it's rare and they're not sure, they're just gonna, be cautious and not do it. So
yeah, big time. And they will lowball you on your rare cards because there's not an easy way to determine the price. Stuff that's like really rare and that requires mental processing to determine its value is not well suited for a quick back and forth with a dealer.
Nope.
It's really difficult to do.
That's an auction card.
100%, or a private deal card where both people can think about it over DMs for an extended period of time. Okay. This one's from Pork Chop Sports Cards. Do you believe that the cause of the market dip is because more people aren't going to eBay to buy cards instead of going to card shows? Since eBay is really the only comp for prices, and during the pandemic, no card really, since during the pandemic, there's no card shows, so the only way to buy was on eBay, which caused prices to go up. So because it seems if people aren't buying on eBay, prices will continue to go down. Do you see a fix to get a better way to comp cards other than eBay? So like we've talked about this on a number of episodes. I do think it's a factor. But when it comes to, will there be a better way to get comps than eBay? That would be a paradigm shift in the hobby if people stopped comping things using eBay. It's been done that way for a long time. When you're on the floor of a show and you're trying to comp something, you and the dealer are literally going to pull out eBay and look up comps. So I don't think there's going to be a change. But at Card Ladder, we are trying to do everything possible to track every comp possible. But it's really, all comps are derivative from eBay comps. So like if the Luka Prism base is selling for $750 on eBay, people aren't going to be doing private deals for them for $1,000 off eBay. That's not going to happen because people can just go to eBay and buy it for $750. So eBay, the comps are king, no matter what way you slice it. Shout out to Jose, JGP45. Let's squeeze his question in here. He says, my theory lower graded cards such as 8s and 9s hold their value better percentage-wise than 10s due to those cards being in the hands of collectors rather than flippers and investors. For example, the Jordan PSA 10 Fleer is down 61% over the last 3 months. The 9 is down 40%. The 8 is down 21%. The 7 is down only 14%. And there are many other examples like this.
That's an interesting take.
That is
I like it.
take. Well done, Jose. Good research, man. Great card ladder member there. Great Clubhouse member, too. If we still remember what Clubhouse is.
I don't.
Sports Card Poppy says the importance of staying in the spotlight after retirement and how it can affect card prices. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's that important. Michael Jordan is not in the spotlight at all.
That's what I was
That
going
dude
to say.
is like,
Man. No social media
that dude
accounts,
is like,
no interviews.
could you think of a guy that like hides more than him and his cards have done the opposite? So I know that he's like a very special case. So, you know, some guys might need it to get a boost, but like Iverson, I feel is another good example of a guy that's like not in the spotlight at all, and he's kind of gotten this, you know, I don't know. Okay, Rodman though, I feel like Rodman stayed in the spotlight with this whole North Korea thing, and you know, just you know how Dennis Rodman is. He's just very outgoing person. So I think his has kind of helped him in that case. So there's some examples of the other way.
Yeah, true. Maybe it's player dependent.
Shaq.
I would argue that Jordan has a brand, though, and therefore him personally doesn't need to be in the spotlight because his brand is on NBA jerseys.
Yeah, it's a good point. Also, he did kind of have like a huge documentary made about him too, not that long.
Did he?
Which spiked his market, yeah.
Must have missed that one.
Let's try and squeeze in a few more here. S311 Dixon says, do you think it would be beneficial for the hobby if Upper Deck and Topps were able to get licensing for the other sports to provide more variety and quality over quantity? Do you think, or would it just add to the growing problem of too many inserts and parallels? Always love the insight you guys provide.
Yeah, go look at Topps Baseball. It's not solving any problems. Like tell them, Chris, purple refractor auto 59. Like, dude, Topps is just as big of a culprit as Panini, in my opinion. And I think it would just like triple the amount of stuff we'd have to deal with. I don't think it would necessarily make it better. And yeah, I guess in theory, it sounds nice. You know, like the competition would improve. So maybe, you know, the thing we can't take into account is like, you know, I can't just like in a vacuum say Topps and Panini would do exactly what they're doing today and it would just like double the output. They would probably like have to compete more and things would change a little bit, but I don't know, the modern person still wants to get a hit out of their box and they want parallels, so the pessimist in me says it would be worse.
Who you got winning the NBA Finals? Last question.
Oh, so you don't get to answer that. All right.
I have no answer. I forgot what the question was. Oh, yeah.
Phoenix Suns.
Is competition good? Yeah, competition, generally speaking, is good. Phoenix
Suns.
Okay.
Oh.
Phoenix Suns. Yo, my dad told me
Oh, here we go.
that whoever won the Clippers Jazz game, he thought would win the championship.
Just tonight's game, specifically.
Yeah, tonight's game. And I was like, really? You know, without Kawhi? He was like, yeah. He said if they can beat the Clippers, I mean, if they can beat the Jazz, who look like a really good team and who are shooting the hell out of the ball and who have the Defensive Player of the Year, if they can turn them into if they can vanquish them without Kawhi, they're going to be pretty damn tough.
Dude, if the Clippers win the championship without Kawhi, that's going to be awkward as hell. Like,
that's ridiculous.
What does that mean? What does that mean for Kawhi and like superstars and card values? Like, that's a very awkward scenario.
Yeah, dude, that's really weird. That's really, really weird. That whole
it was like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. It was like,
yeah, the Bears are still paying dearly for that one is they have Nick Foles on their roster, third in the depth chart, making $20 million a year.
That's the Bears for you.
But let us not overlook the contributions of Paul George. Paul George, playoff P, doing his thing, anchoring that team in Kawhi's absence. So,
I stand by what I said.
all right, good. Well, that's going to do it for this week's crossover. Thank you. Oh, Christina, do you have a pick for who's going to win the MVP finals?
Who's gonna
The
win?
Mavs are out.
Yeah, and you cannot say the Mavs. No, the finals. Who's going to win the championship?
I don't care at this point. I vote for Josh's team.
The Suns. Yeah.
Did you pick, Chris? I don't think I heard you pick. You said a weird thing
I
about the
always,
Clippers.
try to artfully dodge those questions.
Yeah, nice try. Come on, make a pick.
That's why he turned to me, because he was like, "Oh, someone needs to make another pick."
The thing that gets screwed up is that I make a pick, and then like if the pick goes against who I'm rooting for, it screws everything up.
Just pick who you're rooting for then.
No, because it's probably wrong.
Not, dude. You're overthinking the hell out of this. This is the last question on Instagram. Nobody gives a shit what you say.
I'm gonna say the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, you picked the Nets though, bro.
I know, but the Nets are a shell of themselves right now.
Oh, I'm not texting you tomorrow because you didn't pick my son. So see you later.
See you guys. See you next week.